Oh, Gordon, I'm going to start the meeting. But no, it's not this meeting. Call the school committee meeting to order May 23rd, 2023, 6:30 PM in the Ann Keneally Hines Library, East Bridgewater Public School District. At this time, can everybody rise and say the Pledge of Allegiance? Pledge of allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Pennington, aye.
Furia, aye.
Foster, aye.
Fiddler, aye.
Walker, aye.
And I thank EBCAM for McKinnon, aye. Streaming the meeting. Can I have a motion for chair for the 2023-2024 school committee reorganization?
I motion for Lauren Foster to be chair for the school committee for the 2023-2024 school year.
Motion for Lauren Foster for chair. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second, Ellen Pennington. All in favor? Any discussion? All in favor? Yep, I know you do. Yep.
Pennington, aye.
Furia, aye.
Foster, aye.
Fiddler, aye.
Walker, aye.
Gordon is an aye.
So now I take
Yep.
second for,
Vice chair.
take a motion for nominations for vice chair.
Or you could make a motion.
Make a motion.
You can take it or make it.
I will take a motion.
I motion for Scott Walker to be vice chair of the school committee for the 2023-2024 school year.
Second.
All in favor? All in favor? We'll take a roll call vote.
Pennington, aye.
Furia, aye.
Foster, aye.
Fiddler, aye.
Walker, aye.
And Gordon. I'll get it.
Meeting one, you have a minute 3.
I will take a motion for nominations for secretary. Or I could make a motion to nominate Rebecca Fiddler as secretary.
I'll second.
Seconded by Scott. Roll call.
Pennington, aye.
Furia, aye.
Foster, aye.
Fiddler, aye.
Walker, aye.
Oh, Becky?
And we don't do a treasurer, correct? That's the town accountant, or what do we?
Superintendent is a fiduciary.
Superintendent. Do we vote on that, or is that just a known thing? Okay. So I make a motion to elect Superintendent Liz Legault as treasurer of the school committee.
Second.
Roll call.
Pennington, aye.
Furia, aye.
Foster, aye.
Fiddler, aye.
Walker, aye.
Lauren, we're going to skip school committee clerk. We need to post that in-house.
Okay.
So we just got that, so I'll have it for the next meeting.
Next is appointments to standing and subcommittees. Do we have a list of subcommittees available? Or do we want to prioritize a couple of subcommittees and then do the rest of them at the next meeting? I know budget we should probably handle right now. Look at that.
But you can do that, yes. So everybody gets an idea of what the subcommittees entail.
I suggest we do superval, budget, and policy. Those are the 3 main ones that.
Right, because we need to do goals for next year soon, don't we? So, budget, we're gonna do superintendent eval, and which one, what other one?
Policy.
And is that just in case something comes up
Oh,
between,
no, we
or
have a
there?
whole list of things to do.
Okay. Let me find that on the list. Where is it? Am I missing it completely?
Well, and then, so,
Oh, Paul, right at the top, right at the top.
good idea. So the superintendent's always the Reed's Collaborative and PCC rep. And North River Collaborative, the superintendent's always that.
Reed's, North River, and there was another one.
BCC.
Is PCC on here?
Yeah, it's with Reed's, lead.
Oh, and Reed, okay, it's together, I see it. All right, so let's start with Budget Subcommittee. All three of us are still here. Do we want to keep it the same, or do we want, is anybody else interested in being on the Budget Subcommittee?
Where is it on the list?
In the middle.
I would like to stay on it. I feel like invested a lot of time to understand the budget subcommittee this year, and I would like to keep that momentum and continuity.
And Gordon just said he's interested. And that's okay, I don't mind if I don't do it. Gordon's done it before, he'd be good.
Okay, if that works for everybody. Do we need to vote on that, or can we just
We
write
can
it
vote
down?
at the end.
Okay. Superintendent's evaluation process. There currently is, as it stands, there's one opening. Amanda was on there previously. Thank you.
I'd be happy to be on that one.
Did you hear Gordon?
That he wants to be on it?
Yes. And I would continue doing it.
You want to continue?
Yes?
I'm willing to step down from that. If
I'd be
somebody else is
interested in being on
interested, okay. Is anybody else interested?
I am.
I have Gordon, yep. So that would be Gordon, Peter, and Ellen? Yes. So that's budget, that is eval, and policy currently has one vacancy.
Gordon, are you still interested in being on policy? Let's see if he's still
I'd be
on it.
happy to, but I don't want to fill up too many positions if other people want to be on it.
Fair, because you just added two.
Scott just,
Yeah, I'll take that.
Just so everybody knows, the policy subcommittee meets a lot. Thanks, Scott.
I talk fast.
All right, so that would be Scott, Gordon, and Ellen. All right, so
And then the subcommittee for the educational philosophy potentially could be voted to be done. That was completed this year. So we don't need that subcommittee this year.
Okay. So now we should vote to the changes to these specific committees because we're going to do more later, right? Yes.
You. It's up to if everybody wants to take a vote to do that, or if you want to just fill them. Because are we going to need capital needs before town meeting, or no?
Well, I figure I would finish capital needs.
Okay,
Right, till we get to the town meeting, which got pushed back, so.
and then we
But
can,
if somebody wants to take it after me, that's fine.
I think it makes sense for consistency for him to keep doing it, and then after town meeting, we can adjust it later. Okay.
Do you have a thought, John?
Regarding capital, so we are proposing some changes to what we found for capital, so do we need the committee in order to do so?
So Gordon's going to stay on that.
Okay.
So it should, so that's at least consistent until that process is over.
is there somebody on that one with Gordon, or?
No,
We
it's
just
a
have one.
representative to capital.
Okay. Oh, that's just a representative.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. And just for everyone's information,
Oh, sorry. One other thing, so the grievance hearing officer is usually the chair.
okay,
So that would be you.
So that leaves, just for information, that leaves openings that we can do at the next meeting as legislative liaison, representative to town insurance committee, bargaining subcommittee for certified professional contract, bargaining subcommittee for assistant principals contract. Bargaining subcommittee for non-certified contract, voting delegate to annual conference of MASC, and standing committee for school committee goals that we will do at the next meeting. Okay.
Now we have to vote.
Can we vote on changes as discussed? Okay. I will take a motion to vote on the changes to the standing/subcommittees for 2023, 2024 as discussed.
So moved.
Second.
Roll call, all in favor?
Pennington, aye.
Fury, aye.
Foster, aye.
Fiddler, aye.
Walker, aye.
McKinnon, aye.
And now we have adoption of the East Bridgewater School Community Mission Statement. Is this in here? Oh, down the bottom of the agenda. So I will read this aloud. East Bridgewater School Community Mission Statement. The East Bridgewater Public School District, in partnership with the community, continues to provide an academically challenging, safe, and supportive learning environment that promotes the pursuit of excellence for all. All in favor of adopting, is it any discussion? All in favor of adopting the the East Bridgewater School Community Mission Statement?
So moved.
I'll take a motion. So, no, you're right.
I was a
you're-
little early.
And then a second.
Second.
All in favor, roll call.
Pennington, aye.
Fury, aye.
Foster, aye.
Fiddler, aye.
Walker, aye.
McKinnon, aye.
And next, the East Bridgewater Public Schools Educational Philosophy. East Bridgewater Educational Philosophy, we believe schools are one of society's stewards for passing on to young people the foundational lessons of the past, the essential experiences of the present, and the vital skills and knowledge of the future. In doing so, we inspire our students to think and act as responsible and engaged citizens. The success and safety of our school community is directly tied to the collaboration among administrators, teachers, students, families, municipal partners, and community members. Continuous interaction and communication among all parties fosters critical thinking, creativity, and innovation in each individual learner. Our staff and administrators build trusting relationships to create a positive and supportive culture within our schools. Our teachers employ creativity and rigor in the classroom to engage and inspire all students to reach their fullest potential. Our inclusive educational practices support and enhance our students' varied learning rates, their diverse learning styles, and their unique personal needs within a spectrum of public school programs. These practices contribute to differentiated and personalized educational opportunities for all learners. We accept the commitment and challenge of serving our community in a coordinated effort to maximize the quality of educational opportunities for every student. Is there any discussion? No, I'll take a motion to approve this educational philosophy, East Bridgewater Public Schools Educational Philosophy.
So moved.
Moved by Ellen.
Second. Scott can take it.
Pennington, aye.
Fury, aye.
Foster, aye.
Fiddler, aye.
Walker, aye.
McKinnon, aye.
And now we will take a report from our representative, our School Advisory Council, Representative Lilia.
Thank you. So I just have a good amount of updates from May, a very exciting month, obviously, and wrapping up the school year. So last Friday was junior prom, which was from experience. It was a lot of fun. It was a good night, and I think everything went over smoothly. So it was a good night for the students and staff. The senior awards night is on Thursday, so that will be a night for the seniors to be recognized and get their awards. This entire week has been senior week. Monday was blue and gold, today was camo, Wednesday is camping day, Thursday is dress as your favorite childhood TV show, and Friday we'll wrap up senior week with decision day, and it will be a district-wide half-day, so it's exciting. That will also be the senior class's last day of high school. Next week, throughout the week, in the morning, the seniors will be attending graduation rehearsals, and there's fun activities and things planned throughout the week by staff. Senior prom is next Wednesday at Granite Links, and the senior stroll is next Thursday morning, which will be district-wide. Graduation is next Friday night. It's very exciting. And MCAS has been wrapping up. AP tests are all completed, and tomorrow night is the alumni concert at 7 p.m. in the library, in the auditorium, excuse me. So that should be exciting. And I would just like to wrap up by welcoming Mr. Furia.
Thank you.
That's all I have for tonight.
Thanks, Lilia. And we have superintendent's corner next.
Just very quickly, we have the principal search timeline for the junior, senior high school principal. I'll pass that down. The focus groups, the needs assessment of this week, we'll have May 25th, 2023, from 2 to 3 p.m. That will be staff, facilitators Kurt Shippey, EBA president, parents, community facilitators, you, Mrs. Foster, and student focus groups conducted throughout the school day with a couple of our staff here at the school. And on May 26th, 11 to 12 will be facilitated by Dr. Williams, with more staff who can't make it on the 25th. We have staff who are participating in the interviews. We have parents that are participating. We have a student that is participating in the interview. We'll have 2 rounds of it, 2 rounds of interviews. Then we'll have they'll come and visit, and we'll go from there. You'll receive this tonight. Says EBJ, Junior Senior High School Principal candidates in the initial interviews. You'll see candidate 1, 2, and 3 on the first night, candidate 1, 2, and 3 on the second night. We don't give out any names at this time. People are employed in other districts, and we keep that very close until we get to the final 2 candidates. We hope to have it after this. I'll give you another timeline as it comes through, because as we talk to people, we'll know the timelines for them and timelines for us better. Okay.
How were parents, how did that process go for parents?
We sent out a parent square message.
Okay.
And I got 1 person from that, and then I sent out to a couple people that are on Viking Sports Parents. I sent one to a parent that has a few students here at the high school, is on the band and this and that. And I also have, and then a parent that is very involved in the school district and also is on the EBCC. So we waited for parents. I'm trying to get, as many parents. I need a school committee member. I was going to ask that this evening. It'll take 1 or 2 of you. It doesn't take as many, and then as we go forward, we'll continue to have you on.
Okay.
Liz, at what point in the process does a candidate meet you?
They'll meet me on the first night. I don't sit on the interview. I'll sit on the interview. I sort of sit over there. I bring them into the interview.
Yeah.
They'll meet with the candidates. The candidate will meet with I think we have 9 staff members, a student, 2 or 3 parents that night, a couple school committees. So we have about 12, 13 people on that interview. Just waiting for one to let me know.
Gotcha. But you're not actively
I am
interviewing
not
at that
actively on
point?
this. No. And the second round, we'll be actively into it with the administration team from the district, throughout the district, maybe a teacher, maybe someone else who could not be here in the first round, another school committee member, and then the final round. And then that's really the final round, and then hopefully I have 2 that get pushed to that round. Then I'll invite them to take a tour of the building. 1 in the morning and 1 in the afternoon. And then I would sit with them privately.
So you're not sitting with someone privately, really, until they've gone
no.
through several rounds of something?
I don't know any of them.
And is that a standard practice in districts?
Yes.
Yeah.
We stay out of it until the end.
Okay.
Matter of fact, in the last interviews, or in the last sequence of principal interviews, I've done the same thing. I have not been on it. The candidate was always pushed to me, and I've always gone with what the team has said to bring in.
Okay.
Is there a difference? Oh, I thought you were saying, it's always, we've been like that, so.
Gotcha.
We try to stay out of it as long as I can. They're here for the kids, and they're here for the students and the staff, so we want them to be comfortable. I'd like them to come to the district, I'd like them to come to the district, I'd like them to come into the school on that day and walk around in the morning. They'll have about an hour and a half, one in the morning, one maybe in the afternoon, and then they would both probably meet with me. I think last time we had one move forward. We had two move forward. If anybody remembers, on our last round, we did have somebody that we had two people that were coming forward. We called the first, and they had taken another position in Boston. We had two finalists. We called them, I think, the next morning, and this is how quickly this goes at this point. So, I mean, that's why, you don't put names up, because I could get a call tomorrow and say, I just interviewed at such and such, so.
Thank you, that's helpful.
And I have a few. That's what's not there. So let's see. I have a letter of intent to retire from Mrs. Lori Pinardi at ISA at Mitchell School. I want to wish her the best of luck, continued health. Her actual retirement date is July 15th, but she'll be walking out with the kids, and that's how Plymouth County does that with instructional assistants. She has 24 years here in the East Bridgewater Public Schools. I also have a resignation from Miss Amanda Keenan. She's moving to another school district. And that's all for me, because Mr. Shea told me that the Celtics are on this evening, and he'd like to go quick tonight.
Can I second that?
So it goes by 10-page.
And next, we have reports and discussions. We have the second readings of 4 school committee policies.
Yeah, these are the same policies that we talked about at the last meeting. And the next time you see them, they will be all in black. If everybody votes for them, the red lines will be gone. And the only thing is, we just have to make sure that the student handbook references IJLA and maybe even the other policies. So I'll make sure they do that.
Okay. Is there any other discussion about this that we want to have? From you?
I don't think
No
so.
one? No one right now? And next up, we have staffing update.
Oh,
Wait,
we have
sorry.
to-
Go ahead.
We have to vote on them.
Oh, we have to vote on them.
Yeah,
I thought we'd vote on them next time, but
no.
I am wrong. Where did they go? Do we vote on them individually, or?
Is there no, hold on a second. There's no, oh, it doesn't say action required, but we definitely have to do action. We definitely have
Is
to
it
vote
on
on
an
them.
action item?
Nope, but since it's on the agenda, we can still vote on them.
Okay.
So I can make the motion if you want.
If you want to make the motion, that's fine.
I move that we accept the second reading of policies IJ, instructional materials, IJLA, library resources, IJL, library materials, selection and adoption, and IJ-R, reconsideration of instructional materials. That we accept these as our, replacing our other policies, and IJLA was a new one, so that would be adopting.
So we are
That was my motion.
adopting yeah, so you made the motion to adopt IJLA and then approve these as amended.
Yes.
Okay.
Second. Made the motion, right?
She made the motion, yeah.
So Lauren has to say all in favor.
Roll call, all in favor?
Pennington, aye.
Fury, aye.
Foster, aye.
Fiddler, aye.
Walker, aye.
McKinnon, aye.
And next up, we have staffing update. on the agenda? Did we cover that
I
with
think we did.
the,
I think the questions came
Bernardi
the
and
other day, and
Mr.
just you asked what the movement was, and I sent you that. I mean, if there was any other, if you wanted any questions on that.
I don't have any questions on these particular ones,
Okay?
but we can reconnect before the next meeting and see.
Yep.
Yeah.
I think it maybe the staffing of who we've hired up till now. Do you want that?
No, let's make a concerted effort to cover it at the next meeting
fine.
in a whole thing.
Okay.
We'll talk about it. Financial, Mr. Shea.
So I handed out a two-page summary that I give you guys every month. We're in the real busy part of the year. We are reviewing all open purchase orders. We are getting geared up to prepaid tuitions with circuit breaker funding. We need to reconcile all our grant accounts in the midst of a year-end audit and grant audit. So we are very busy, and I say we, it's Joanne's doing a lot of the work, and Joanne Connors, and I just want to give a shout out to the finance staff. I was verbally told by the auditors that a year-end audit, we had one audit finding, which is super. And it's a result of all the finance staff and special ed, Joanne Benner, Joanne Connors, Amy Stevens, Erica Christie. They do a great job. And that audit finding was minor. It has something to do with an agreement we have with the town for town cost allocation, so I don't give them a shout out enough. They do a great job. Non-salary, we have an available balance right now of $50,709. Last year at this time, we had an available balance of $8,087. We're on track with the non-salary budget. We do have some upcoming graduation expenses, but barring anything, any surprises, we are in good shape to reach our budget. Salary, again, we don't encumber or accrue salary. Hopefully one of these days we'll have a system that does that, so I do it manually. We've got an available balance of $4,610,000, and that should be enough to cover us based upon the modeling that I've done through the rest of the year. Any questions on that status? Second page is the revolving fund balances. With the reimbursement we're receiving from the federal government and the state, our school lunch account is in great shape. Circuit breaker, you see, we have $600,000 in circuit breaker. I need to spend a little over 300 of that this year, so that's what we'll be using to prepay tuitions next year. School choice is steady, right around where we were last year at this year-end last year. You notice the athletic fund balance has decreased from prior years. There's about $25,000 that we have. Some of it we haven't received, some of it we will be receiving from other schools for our hockey program, so that's not reflected in that number. And I just want to mention that, we've had some unexpected expenses in athletics this year, especially in the last month or two. Our softball scoreboard, the actual scoreboard has broke, so we're fixing that. The softball scoreboard controller broke, our basketball scoreboard controller broke. The equipment in the gym, all the hoist cables, pulleys were all fixed. The sound system in the gym, that needed to be fixed. So it's great that we have these funds to be able to do that. and we put it to good use. Preschool balance is in good shape. Building rental account is actually also down compared to last year and last couple of years, and a lot of that is due to, again, to unexpected things that occurred. In the field, in the stadium, we had to replace speakers, amplifiers. I know the last couple of years, we've had some complaints at graduation because of the sound system. Those complaints will no longer be, because it sounds great out there now. And we actually installed Bluetooth, too, to make it easier for people to access the sound system. All other accounts, busing fees, before and after care, Little Vikings. You see Little Vikings is high right now, but that's because we haven't incurred all the expenses that we will be over the summer. Music account is in great shape. Any questions about anything?
With the scoreboards and this, right, when we've talked about this building is old, it's 10, well, not old, obviously, but 10 years. Do you forecast that? Like, do you have any, I get it, you're saying unanticipated or, right, not prepared for spending, but is there some sort of like audit or something of the building?
Well,
when you estimate what might need to be repaired?
What we're doing is we're setting up annual maintenance, a company to come out and look at all our equipment in the gym, look at all our equipment in the weight room, look at our equipment in the auditorium. So we've already set up, which we haven't done in the past.
Okay.
So we're working with the town facility manager to get that going.
So then we'd have more knowledge moving forward, like in terms of planning budget?
Correct.
Or something?
Yeah, we definitely need to do a better job planning
Okay.
for these types of things.
Thanks.
I have a question. If somebody else doesn't already
Can you
have.
hear him?
Barely.
Hold on, Gwen, let me see if I can turn you. Oh. Okay, now talk.
Okay.
Better.
Hear me okay?
Yep.
I'm just, this question just in general about finance, perhaps not directed to John, but maybe to the budget subcommittee. Any updates with regard to budget conversations with the town? Just generic, I mean, I'm not looking for specifics, but what's going on that front?
What a segue, Gordon.
That was excellent, Gordon. Excellent timing.
That's actually next on the
Oh.
agenda.
That's next. Did you hear Lauren?
So if
Oh, okay, great, sorry.
no one has any further questions for John, we can move on to that. We good? Okay, so budget subcommittee. Do you want to report,
me to
or do you
update?
want me to do it?
I'm happy to report, and I'll do my best, and John, please fill in spots that I attempt to do, okay? So the Budget Subcommittee has met. There's been there's been one formal Budget Subcommittee meeting. There's been collaborative meetings with the town in trying to identify some ways that we can modify our budget to try to work with some of the requests from the town. So we have looked at that. We have some, well, it started out as good news for looking at things for the town in a way that John was able to look at the budget. And we had, well, I guess first let me say, we had certified a budget a certain way, right? And so now we'll be looking at motioning to change that based on some of these things. So when we had certified the budget, we had pulled out of school choice and put into operational the positions of school, a nurse and IT. And we had looked at, it was an IT program, right? That,
IT, yeah, some IT.
right, the IT expenses or program. So we were hoping to take those things out of being funded by school choice and move them into operations. So when looking at the budget again for the town, we realized that we could put those things back into school choice funding as a way to shift the budget some. And so that brought our number to a decent place. We had gotten to a point where we were looking at being able to modify our budget by 228,696. We were trying to hit that marker that the town was requesting from us, and then the same week that John had done all that work and done that, the district was notified of an out-of-placement, out-of-district residential placement. So unfortunately, or fortunately, I mean, first, we want to support this kiddo and what the kiddo needs, but that expense does come to us, as we've talked about in some of the special ed conversations, that is a legal responsibility that we are obligated to do. Hands are tied there. That came in at quite a high number. So when balancing again, we were able to look at that, and John was able to try to work some more magic with that. So unfortunately, with that out-of-district placement that we are absolutely obligated to provide, the budget and reduction that is going to be proposed is for 162,545, for us to be able to bring it down to that amount. So that is still not getting us to a place where we'd like to be more collaborative with what the town is asking for. So then we looked at capital needs. Like I did it, John. I did not go in and look at capital needs. With John's recommendation, we're looking at capital needs. We were able to look at the box truck replacement, which we had talked about several times in these meetings, for a capital needs request of the town to fund a box truck for $73,000. And then we had made a request of capital needs for technology switches, modules, and devices. That request was for $132,050. John got a rebate on some of that, so we were able to shift that number to the capital needs request to $69,670. So what ends up happening with this is that we have looked at a number, and we are hoping that you guys will agree to modify our budget to be a reduction of 162,545, and let the town know that the capital needs requests, we are no longer requesting the amounts that we initially were requesting. So the hope is that when we are modifying that if the town is using any sort of other avenues to pay for those capital needs, that we would, we are not asking for it anymore, and that goes back into the town's pocket. And the total for that ended up being, with hey, keep that money, but also we've adjusted, this was around 305 in change with how we've modified the budget. How did I do with my first budget presentation, John?
Perfect.
You need an assistant? So I think I covered most of it. I can't stress enough that John did some exceptional work with getting that number to the 228,696 that was got to. But it is absolutely imperative that we provide the students with what they need residentially, academically, and that's something we have to do.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Could she repeat the final number? I didn't hear what we finally got it down to.
So, Gordon, do you mean combining the reduction and the no longer needing the capital needs?
Yes, what's the final?
That number was 305,215.
And the request was,
And,
The request from the
Correct me
town was
if I'm
reduced
wrong.
by 300. Sorry, what?
I'm sorry, correct me if I'm wrong, John, but if I start with you, Becky. Did you say on the capital needs request, I think it was one of the technology requests, there was some rebates that would reduce the number?
Yes.
Yes.
I thought the capital needs already took the reduction into account.
The capital committee for the town?
John said capital committee for the town.
Yes.
I don't know whether they did it or not. They were notified about it. I don't know if they took that.
Yeah, no, I think, if the original number was I'm just using round numbers, I don't have them in front of me. The original number was a request for 130, and with the rebates coming back to us, the number ended up at 65 or whatever it is. I think, I could be wrong because I don't have it in front of me. I thought they only posted the 65 that they were going to need, but I could be wrong on that, but it's worth looking into.
How does that impact what I just said? That sounded fresh. I'm just trying to understand. I really didn't mean for it to be fresh. I'm truly just.
No,
So he thinks you're deducting that full amount, not the rebate amount. You're only deducting the rebate amount.
Correct.
yes, they're only deducting the rebate amount, Gordon.
But I think what Gordon's saying,
I know, but-
they may already have that.
Taking it.
Right, they've already taken it into consideration, which
I
we
don't-
don't know.
I don't
think
know.
so.
As a, I mean, so, but what we need to do tonight is vote as a committee to reduce the school budget we certified by 162,545. And then we'll take next steps from there.
Great, nice work. Well done.
So Gordon, if I did my math correctly.
Are you sure you wanted?
No, I don't want to say this out loud, but I'll do it. Then it becomes 235,542, if that rebate is just like a non-existent thing. So we still came up with a number, right? Like that was
Yeah.
as close to something around 300 that we could. But that's just my 1990s math talking.
Pre-new math. Does anyone have any further questions or discussion on this? Then I will
I'm
make it.
curious, I know this number came about, and it was discussed in a meeting, almost like an accusation. Curious if the new amount will get an apology or a thank you?
So when we met with the town, the vibe of that meeting was not accusatory at all. I will say,
Because the one on TV was.
when we all met in person, it was, I thought it was a productive discussion. So, I mean, we've come and done our part. We'll just have to see what happens next. I will make a motion to reduce the school budget by $162,545.
So moved. Oh. Second. Moved by Sox, second by Ellen.
Roll call vote.
Pennington, aye.
I'm going to have to, without having enough understanding of that, I'm going to have to pass on a vote.
So Peter abstains. Foster, aye.
Fiddler, aye?
Walker, aye?
McKinnon, aye.
And now we have public comment. A reminder that the public comment period is not an open public forum. Speakers may address topics on the agenda, items specified for public comment, or items within the scope of the school committee's responsibility. Everyone should have, anyone who's here to speak for public comment should have signed in. If you haven't, there's a sheet over there. Let me,
That one.
this is different. This is the, we'll save that if you need it. I had it printed out. So it's just a reminder that the public comment isn't a back and forth. You are welcome to stand and express your concerns and make any comments. We are not answering questions tonight. So just know that when you formulate what you're going to say. I think previously we've given everyone 3 minutes to speak on that,
Up to 3.
up to 3 minutes.
Depends
to
on if
speak.
there's, oh, sorry.
No, that's fine.
Depends on how many people there are to speak and how long you give for the public comment section.
I think I think 3 minutes is good.
Yeah, we don't have a lot of people.
Yeah, no, it's fine. Do we have a microphone?
Never mind. Yeah, one right there.
It's just blended in, it's blended.
Oh, I see it, it's behind the thing. Okay, we want to, Johnny, you're going to move that a little bit? One thing I ask when you do come up to the microphone to introduce yourself, so we know who you are? Can people just come up?
Oh, do you have the clipboard?
I don't have the clipboard, no.
Oh, probably up there.
I've just been notified that they don't need to come up to the mic, that they can be heard from where they're sitting.
Oh, perfect. Dan, you want to?
Yeah, sure. Good evening. Here for two things. First, representing Finance Committee, I wanted to thank the School Budget Subcommittee for their time and meeting, school district leadership on everything you've been able to do with the budget. It has helped with the overall formation of the town budget. So thank you for that. Secondly, I'm here as a parent. I'm here to address the resignation of the principal and assistant principal at the junior senior high school, as well as the disturbing trend of turnover in these positions. Over the last 8 years, there have been 6 principals and at least 4 to 5 assistant principals. While some of the turnover is attributed to career growth, when a trend like this is identified, the district and school committee have an obligation to the residents of the town to determine if there's any commonality causing the turnover. A constantly changing leadership structure in a school has an impact on students, teachers, parents, and everyone else associated with the school. According to a study completed by the Brookings Institute, their research found that principal turnover is associated with lower test scores, lower school proficiency rates, and lower teacher retention. The study also stated that the impact of principal turnover can often last for more than one school year. Looking specifically to our school, according to the DESE 2022 school report card, our high school has had a declining population from 2017 to 2022 by 120 students. The number of students categorized as partially meeting or not meeting expectations in 10th grade MCAS for math, ELA, and science has increased over the same time. Lastly, the DESE student growth measure, defined as the amount of academic progress a student made over 1 year based on MCAS scores, is well below the state average of 50% in both math and ELA. These statistics beg the question, is some of this tied to the turnover in the school? As I started by saying, the district owes it to the community to determine what's going on. Questions should be asked to conclude if turnover is tied to school policy, leadership issues, budget, etc. Exit interviews should be a standard practice, as is done in private industry. While much of this may be confidential, the district should be as transparent as possible. This can't be an issue that ceases to be discussed when we all leave the room tonight. Thank you.
Thanks, Dan. Ready?
Next person.
Aaron McDonald?
I'm here tonight to address concerns I've had for quite some time regarding the junior senior high school and the turnover rate for principals and staff. I know that I have to speak to the turnover rate and staffing issues at the junior senior high school specifically, as that is what is on the agenda. However, these issues are at the root of all that has gone wrong with the school climate. Due to the high turnover rate and understaffing, there have been months where there is no teacher at all for a class. There have been widespread consequences and effects on the overall experiences our children have had. The turnover rate of principals in East Bridgewater is alarming compared to other districts in the area. Sharon, 4 principals in 29 years. Methuen, 3 principals in 19 years. West Bridgewater, 2 principals in 12 years. Bridgewater-Raynham, 1 principal in 13 years. Middleborough, 1 principal in 15 years. And then there's East Bridgewater with 6 principals in 10 years. Were exit interviews conducted? If so, what were the reasons for departure, and how are these answers being used to keep or attract new hirees? Surveys were conducted over the last week, and the following is what has been reported and what parents feel has been the trickle effect of principal and teacher turnover, bullying. Several parents reported on the survey that when bullying incidents were reported, little to nothing was done to resolve these issues. Phone calls have not been returned. In some instances, parents have pulled their child from the district due to lack of support in this area. Consequences. The consequences for athletes do not seem to match those of others. Many classes this year were left unstaffed or covered by teachers who taught other subjects, which meant significantly decreased time on task. My own son went 2 months without a tech ed teacher and used his phone to keep busy in class. Last high school review resulting in current probation, too few AP classes, kids taking same courses in one day. On any given day, students are spending an hour plus on YouTube and making TikTok videos because of the 90-minute blocks, because teachers are understaffed again. Teachers have stated outright they are not teaching or providing work for 90 minutes. Some classes have 30 students in them due to staffing shortages. The state average, according to DESE, is 16 students in a high school class. Teacher turnover rate, which is often the result of not feeling supported by administration. If I had the resources, I would be reporting on teacher turnover. However, in our 1 year here at the East Bridgewater Junior Senior High School, my own son had 3 teachers leave or move classes. That's 1 student, 1 year. Number one consistent piece of feedback was lack of transparency and communication. Leadership turnover resulting in inconsistencies across the board. Additional data taken from the survey indicates 41% of 7th and 8th grade parents who responded to the survey are sending their child to a different school in 9th grade. 51% of elementary and middle school parents who responded currently plan on sending their child to an alternate school for 9th grade. What is being done to address the behavior problems caused by repeated offenders? Lack of consistency creates gaps in providing consistent consequences. In the few weeks I've had to talk to parents time and time again, I've heard that they have reached out to administration for help, some even meeting with the superintendent. What was heard across the board is that parents don't feel heard and that they are genuinely concerned for their child's future given the turnover rate and inconsistency in leadership. So as you've heard, the impact that staffing and principal turnover has had on our children cannot be fixed with a Band-Aid. We need to look at the infrastructure of the school. We need to do better by our children. We need to figure out how to keep caring and qualified teachers and stop hiring warm bodies to babysit classes. We need the superintendent and the school committee to actually make us feel like it is great to be a Viking.
Thanks, Erin. Chrissy Rafferty?
Hi, Chrissy Rafferty, 2 Michael Road. I'm a mother of 3 and a resident who has lived here for around 10 years. In those 10 years, there has been at least 6 high school principals, several interim and assistant principals, and guidance staff that I can remember. Starting out in East Bridgewater, I had an older child in 6th grade and 2 younger children. I was hopeful of the academic encouragement and success I would see throughout their school years. Unfortunately, I have been very disappointed in the high school in East Bridgewater. My oldest child went to Southeastern for a period of time. My now 8th grader only attended the high school for 1 year. Currently, we are transporting and paying private school tuition for him. My upcoming 7th grader really wants to attend the high school for the group of friends she has made and the positive experiences she has had thus far in her education. However, we are giving it a 1-year trial before deciding if she needs to attend a different school. I need to feel confident that after 6 years at the high school, she will be supported and challenged academically and will be ready for her next steps in life. It is disappointing that I cannot rely on my tax dollars to provide the education that my kids need and deserve. Unfortunately, we are not the only family in this predicament. Students should not want to go to other schools via school choice, regional schools, or private schools. Parents should not need to encourage this. Teachers, administrators, and other staff should not want to move to another district. Being an educator myself, I am fully aware of many of the challenges in the world of education currently. I also know that with proper structures in place, support, and climate, staff and students would not want to leave for another school. I urge you to provide a stable, supportive, positive environment that is competitive in benefits and monetary amounts that will attract highly qualified staff and administrators that want to commit to this town. The teachers deserve to be compensated for their endless efforts. Our kids deserve highly qualified content teachers, a school that is not being questioned with accreditation, a safe space, proper learning curriculum and tools, and stability. I urge you to dig deeper into the reasoning behind the turnover rates a number of students that are not attending the high school. Please let me know if I can support this endeavor in any way. Thank you.
Thank you. And those are the three people we had signed up for public comment. Thank you all for coming out tonight. And now we have action items. First action item is a request from the Ann Keneally Hines Memorial Scholarship Committee to place a memorial bench on school property in honor of the late William Bill Smith. There's a letter in our packet. Dear Superintendent Legault, on behalf of the Ann Keneally Hines Memorial Scholarship Committee, I write to request your support of the placement of a memorial bench on school property. William Smith was a founding member of our community. He was beloved by his AKH teammates, his students at EBHS, his community, and his family. I attach a link to his obituary for your reference. Bill's family members have requested that the bench be placed on school property, with first choice being near the football field and second choice near the baseball field. Ideally, we would like to place the bench and hold a dedication ceremony during the month of June. We would be very grateful for your support of this project. I would be happy to speak with you to answer any questions you may have regarding this request. Very sincerely yours, Virginia O'Kelly, President. Is there any?
Ginny's here.
Oh. Thank you for this request.
Jenny O'Kelly, retired East Bridgewater faculty member. I'm here representing the Ann Hines Scholarship Committee. Bill was a founding member of our committee in 2013. We've been at this now for 10 years consistently. Wonderful man, wonderful teacher, was a role model for all the finest values, and supported students, especially those who went on into the military, founded a group, Support Our Troops, that was immensely impactful. Bill passed away in 2022, great loss to us personally, and we would love to have a bench on this property that we and his family could enjoy. I hope you have your support.
Thank you.
Thank you.
As a former student of Mr. Smith, he was an incredible person.
I don't think we have any policies prohibiting us from doing this, right?
No, we can vote to approve.
Okay. I'll take a motion to approve the request from Mrs. O'Kelly.
So moved.
Second?
Or do you want to second it?
Can we have discussion, please?
Sure.
We have discussion. As I recall, I forget which year it was, and nothing, I'm certainly not saying anything about Mr. Smith, that's fine, but I think we passed either a policy or a procedure that we would follow when somebody approaches us about naming a part of the school or a piece of equipment or something after a particular individual. All I suggest is we look back at those notes or whatever we put in place to make sure we're conforming with it when we go to approve.
You're going to say something?
No, you know the policy. We're not naming anything, Mr. Kelly. Buddy benches and benches are.
It's just, so it's just, I remember talking about it, but it's a vague memory.
You're not naming.
We're not naming anything. It's a bench that's being placed.
You're offering a buddy bench or a bench for.
Yeah.
You put on school property.
And it will have Mr. Smith's name on it.
It'll
Yes.
have, yes. We did this for Mr. Lapine down at the school. We also did it for, we have a little buddy bench
Mr. Herbert.
over at Central School,
All right.
a little reading bench. And we have a couple buddy benches over there. I think we have one on the, we just put one out by the playground as well. So, and those are usually donated in memory of. We also have a plaque out here for Ms. Snellgrove. And she has a plaque out there that we moved, I think a year ago or so, when we did, when we redid the front patio area. Before. But we're not naming a building or a room, Gordon. You're placing a memorial.
And I understand that. My only concern is for future, if somebody steps forward to donate a bench or something, and there may be some controversy associated with it, and the committee may decide not to, and then somebody would say, well, you approved all these other things, what's the process to approve? If we don't have one in writing, I suggest strongly that we consider it. Can be generically written, should be something that we have reference to fall back on when, as and if something in the future becomes problematic. So I'm fine to vote for this now, but I do strongly suggest we have some sort of guideline to go by in the future.
We should revisit the policy. We can do that.
Right.
We can revisit it.
I'm sorry, I'm confused.
Okay.
So we have a policy, it's just that, so when you say revisit the policy,
I think we do.
we have
Off the top of my
one.
head, I couldn't tell you what file number it would be.
So then, is it a concern, right, you just asked if we had one, right,
Right.
Lauren? So if we have one, we need to make sure we're following it.
Can we look it up?
To do this bench, we would still be following it.
Okay.
Okay. Because we're not naming something, we're putting a bench. Okay.
Right.
You can vote with a caveat to say, we'll take this as our last one and then look at the policy.
And then look at, right, that's,
MASC has a policy of naming structures. It's a general policy in the MASC
Yeah.
handbook. You can then design it for East Bridgewater
East
Public Schools.
Bridgewater, sure. So I take a motion to approve this request, noting Gordon's caveat that we revisit the policy in the future.
So moved.
Second?
All in favor, roll call?
Pennington, aye.
Fury, aye.
Foster, aye.
Fiddler, aye?
Walker, aye?
McKinnon, aye.
Action is required on the school committee meeting minutes from the May 8th, 2023 meeting, which are enclosed. I'll take a motion.
So moved.
Establishing a new order, I guess.
I guess we are.
Second by Becky. All in favor, roll call?
Pennington, aye.
Fury, aye.
Should you
I was
abstain?
wondering, I should abstain on this one.
Did you watch it?
I read it.
Actually, were you voting in at that time?
No.
No,
Okay, then you should stay.
abstain.
Okay. Foster, aye.
Fiddler, aye?
Walker, aye?
McKinnon, aye.
Action is required after discussion on changing the 6:30 PM June 6, 2023 school committee meeting to 6 PM on June 5th, 2023. This is to align with town meeting.
So moved.
Any discussion? Okay. Moved by Ellen, second by Peter. Roll call.
Pennington, aye.
Fury, aye.
Foster, aye.
Fiddler, aye?
Walker, aye?
McKinnon, aye.
Action is required after review to approve accounts payable warrant 47SV dated 5/17/2023.
So moved.
Second?
Roll call, all in favor?
Pennington, aye.
Fury, aye.
Foster, aye.
Fiddler, aye?
Walker, aye?
McKinnon, aye.
Action is required on payroll warrant 46PS dated 5/10/2023.
So moved.
Second?
All in favor? Roll call.
Pennington, aye.
Fury, aye.
Foster, aye.
Fiddler, aye?
Walker, aye?
McKinnon, aye.
Before you go into are you going to read about executive session?
That was my next.
I have a confusion. So I understand, and I want to make sure I'm stating I'm not responding to anything that anyone has said, but when would be a time that school committee could have a conversation? Would it be something on an agenda in the future to express thoughts and concerns about turnover so that it is not considered a response?
So we're limited with what we can discuss because we can't discuss personnel.
But school committee members can express concern, yes?
And you can also speak with the superintendent and you can find out why people left if she's able to tell you.
I'm trying to be very mindful. I don't know what I can say at this particular moment. So my question specifically is there an opportunity to have some sort of conversation that doesn't need to be private, not discussing personnel? I would not ask the superintendent to violate anyone's confidentiality that way, about the concerns. Like, is that something that goes on another agenda at another time, so that it's now not in response to public comment?
I would say that would be a question for Nick when after executive session's over, Nick will be on the line and you can ask him.
Okay.
That's legal advice from Nick.
Perfect, thank you.
I move that the school committee meet in executive session, not to be returning to open session pursuant to Massachusetts General Laws, Chapter 30A, Section 21A, for purpose 2, to discuss strategy with respect to negotiations with non-union personnel, specifically the business administrator, because an open session may have a detrimental effect on the bargaining position of the school committee. And at this time, I will take a roll call vote.
Pennington, aye.
Very high.
Foster, aye.
Fiddler, aye.
Walker, aye.
McKinnon, aye.
The motion has passed. School committee will now meet in executive session pursuant to Massachusetts General Law, Chapter 30A, Section 21A, for purpose 2, to discuss strategy with respect to negotiations with non-union personnel, specifically business administrator, because an open session may have a detrimental effect on the bargaining position of the school committee. School committee will not be reconvening in open session.
And before we leave, I just wanted to say, so it had to say negotiations because it's not John Shea, the business administrator, is not a collective bargaining unit. He is just one person.
Okay.
That's the reason for the change.
Okay.
Before we wrap up, I want to